My name is Donald Smith, and I'm the Executive Director of the International Process and Performance Institute. I'd like to share with you some extraordinary insight into the realities of how organizations deliver value to their customers, and for those who will receive it, a very simple strategy to dramatically increase customer affinity in your organizations. Imagine with me a very busy day when you are desperately short of time and you've reached the point where you're about to pass out from hunger. You decide to make a quick trip to the closest drive-through dive so you can make it just a few more hours. Imagine the Mission Impossible theme song as you bolt from the office door to your car. Pulling into the drive-through, you give your order to the friendly voice emitted from the big outdoor menu, pull forward to the pay window where you fork over the cash, you wait a minute or two at the second window, then it suddenly opens and a bag of warm food and cold drink are handed over. Mission accomplished. Music crescendos and stops. Contrast that with a similar scenario, except that when you get to the second window, it opens and the person says, "Sorry, but it will be about 10 minutes while we cook your order. Please pull forward to the parking space ahead. We'll be right out with your order." What? Instead of the Mission Impossible crescendo, you hear and feel tire screeching to a stop. This isn't what you bargained for. You don't have 10 minutes to spare. Look a little more closely at these times in your life when you are engaged with a provider in order to obtain some product or service. Sometimes you come away from the experience feeling like you received good value. By good value, I mean it met your wants or needs and was worth not only the price paid, but also the effort expended to obtain it. But we also know that sometimes the value we are looking for was not delivered, or the cost and effort expended were greater than the value delivered. You may not be completely conscious of it, but as a consumer of goods and services, you are an active participant. As an actor in that process, your involvement is integral. These interactions are called moments of truth. Understanding the significance of moments of truth cannot be overstated. The customer experience and satisfaction levels are most often determined by the moments of truth. But more to the point, our organization's health, culture, and viability are directly and powerfully influenced by them as well. Moments of truth are moments that matter monumentally for all organizations. And I do mean all organizations, public or private, for-profit or non-profit, and regardless of size. We know about moments of truth because of a fellow by the name of Richard Norman. Norman was a Swedish academic and management guru who completed and published considerable research on strategy, leadership, and value creation systems. He was the first person to call these interactions with the customer moments of truth. Norman saw the moment of truth as when the customer and the person from the provider organization are face to face. He likened it to a bullfight, where the matador and the bull faced off in the arena. He said the moment of truth is where quality as perceived by the client is created. The powerful influence of moments of truth was proven in the turnaround at Scandinavian Airlines, also known as SAS, back in the early 80s. The airline's turnaround is chronicled in the book Moments of Truth by former SAS CEO Jan Carlzon. In the book, Carlzon tells how the oil crisis of the 70s was a catalyst for severe market stagnation in the early 80s, which hit all airlines globally. SAS was bleeding severely, to the point they knew they would have to close their doors if something wasn't done soon. Their senior management asked Carlzon to give them a proposal to save their airline, since he had shown significant success in turning around a large travel agency and a small domestic airline. Carlzon sketched out a plan which incorporated what he had learned from Norman and focused on SAS's moments of truth. He proposed eliminating all moments of truth which added little or no relevant value to the customer. For each remaining moment of truth, they would empower the employees to make them the best experience possible for the customer. Senior management approved Carlzon's proposal, and SAS became profitable again that very same year. And get this, they exceeded their profit estimate by more than 3 times. But the success didn't just stop at the bottom line. In the following year, they were voted the top airline in the industry and held that position for quite some time. So, can it be that moments of truth are really that influential? Well, Norman's research determined that on average, it takes 12 successful moments of truth to make up for 1 failed moment of truth. A failed moment of truth is one which fails to deliver the expected utility for the expended resources and/or is a bad experience for the customer. Resources can be expended in our time, effort, and money. Bad experiences can be described as disrespectful, frustrating, or confusing. Failed moments of truth are not trivial. And there's more. Norman also discovered that failed moments of truth have a tendency to cause subsequent failed moments of truth. If we think about it for a moment, it's quite obvious. Think of a time when you've been handling an angry or cranky customer. Once the experience is over, the ill feelings you have from that interaction linger and often bleed into the next customer interaction, thereby putting it at risk as well. The customer also has bad feelings, which are likely to escalate at the next contact with the company, even if it's with a different employee. The negative energy also passes from you to others in terms of embarrassment, resentment, and defeatist behaviors. Failed moments of truth can start a chain reaction, which Norman referred to as a vicious circle. Once a company slides into a vicious circle, it is very difficult to reverse. Companies often slide into a bog of negative and defeatist attitudes, evolving into a caustic culture where customers are considered the enemy, where they are loathed, ridiculed, and despised. It is truly a vicious downward cycle, with the organization swirling in ever tighter circles toward the drain of eventual failure. On the other hand, Norman found the opposite to be true with successful moments of truth. When organizations create successful moments of truth, they have a tendency to produce subsequent successful moments of truth. Again, if we think about it from our own experience, we know this to be the case. Think about a situation where you helped a customer who then expressed genuine appreciation for the value provided. It's a great feeling. And going into the next customer interaction, you probably felt confident and energized to create a similar experience. Without a doubt, the next customer experiences this positive energy, which significantly influences the chances of yet another successful moment of truth. Customers who experience successful moments of truth are absolutely positive going into future moments of truth, and they tell others about their good experience. Employees feel good about their jobs because they feel valued and worthwhile. Norman called this phenomenon the virtuous circle. Organizations can ride this rocket of positive inertia created in successful moments of truth to gain this amazing and energizing success. Organizations experiencing this virtuous circle seem to be on fire with contagious positive energy, which is very difficult to extinguish. At the time of Norman's development of the moment of truth concept, the emergence of much of the technology for automating customer interactions was in its infancy. The World Wide Web was 10 or more years away, and the ability to use it to create mainstream customer value another 5 to 10 years. What I'm suggesting is that most of the moments of truth at the time were indeed face-to-face. However, we know now that there are many ways to deliver quality and value. Moments of truth are not just face-to-face interactions with customers. More and more, we find moments of truth delivered with the help of technology, and self-service is becoming a popular way for customers to obtain value. And simply because technology is the interface for the moment of truth, we shouldn't assume it isn't just as critical as the face-to-face version. Moments of truth, no matter what the interface, are critically important in the customer value chain and worthy of careful scrutiny for effective and respectful value delivery. Today, we probably have far more moments of truth which are not face-to-face, and we need to take those as seriously as the face-to-face ones, if not more so. Just because you automate or use a technology to handle the moment of truth doesn't ensure it delivers expected value and creates a good experience. Anyone with even limited experience using internet resources has come to understand how miserable those moments of truth can be. So, do we want more or better moments of truth? John Nesbitt, in his book Megatrends, decried the emerging use of technology for dealing with customer interactions and advocated that most were better off with human involvement. His advocacy for a high-touch approach had a lot of buzz for a while, but after a short time it died out. For some reason, going back to human interactions didn't really help that much, and in some cases, high touch was carried to the extreme of high annoyance. Why would that be? No one argues that customers are always seeking more value for lower cost. However, more moments of truth are not what customers really want. Think again from your own experience as a consumer. We want to obtain the value we're looking for, but with the least amount of time and effort as possible. Moments of truth take our time. Moments of truth require our effort. Moments of truth consume precious resources. As consumers, we do not want more of them. In fact, even though it is only theoretical, it is quite safe to say that the best of all purchases or value acquisitions would require no time or effort from us. In other words, the product or service just appeared, and there was not a single moment of truth involved. None. But is it reasonable to expect that we will have no moments of truth? Not really. Yet that should not hold us back from acknowledging that moments of truth represent drag or encumbrances for our customers. Therefore, our goal should always be to find ways to deliver the same or more value with fewer moments of truth. Indeed, we may never remove all moments of truth, but it should always be our goal to have as few as possible. You might be saying to yourself, can't we just make our moments of truth work better? I liken that approach to putting lipstick on a pig. Remember SAS's success in the early 80s. The first thing they did was to remove the moments of truth in their processes which did not add value the customer was looking for. Removal came first. Only after that did they re-engineer the remaining moments of truth to make them the best experience possible. Look at organizations that are known for great customer experiences and significant customer value. You will also see fewer and more effective moments of truth. Removal should always be our first efforts. Save the lipstick for later.